Alright, Harmony Science Academy students, welcome to this next video for Honors Geometry. Let's go and get into it. Of course, pencil, notebook, Chromebook, and when calculators permit it, why not, right? So, just a saying from Zig Ziglar that I want to share with you guys, okay, that reads like this: If you are not willing to learn, no one can help you, okay? If you are determined to learn, no one can stop you, okay? This is just a moment for you guys to reflect and be like, hey, you know what? If I really want to learn something, I don't need any excuses. Just give me anything, a textbook, a note, anything, and I'll learn, okay? So a lot of times when we're struggling, we want to look and blame something outside, and this is reminding you, hey, look inside, okay? Where's your desire to learn, okay? All right. So, like always, you guys, uh, even though we're going to be covering this material here today, keep in mind that the title, objective, vocabulary notes in general is always very important, and that comes from our classroom textbook, which is really a PDF, okay? All right, just disregard this. This is for another class. All right, so what we're looking at today is the CBA review, okay? Overall, I think you guys did pretty good in many questions. I've chosen the ones where the class struggled the most, okay? So you want to have those recorded, but more important than the right answer choice, okay? I just put it out there because that's what everyone cares about, right? But what I'm putting out there for is so we can just not focus on that anymore and just kind of really try and learn and figure out, hey, where did I make a mistake? Okay? All right. So number 16 was maybe the one everyone missed the most, so let's look at it closely. Okay? And you guys want to have this recording in your notebooks. And it says like this: What is the conclusion of the following conditional? Okay? Most of you guys know that you've got your premise and your conclusion, right? With these conditional statements. If P then Q type situation, right? So um, I think that's what you guys all did. You kind of read this and jumped at that situation where you have your conclusion towards the end, right? So in this case, a number is divisible by 2 if the number is even, right? If P then Q, but notice here we have the if the number is even, right? So long story short, you guys know conditional. I think you were set up to miss this, okay? And we found the trap, which is, I think those are horrible questions, but you know, we've got to figure this CBA out. So anyways, if the number is even, a number is divisible by 2, okay? So that's why the answer choice is this one, okay? The number is even, right? So here we have kind of that premise, right? The premise and the conclusion. So they give us a, is it doable? Yeah, apparently that you can switch the order, okay? So that's kind of where they set you guys up. So here's the if the number is even, pretty much then a number is divisible by 2, okay? So that would be more of the premise, okay? The sum of the digits of the number is divisible by 2, okay? What is the conclusion? The sum of the digits, okay? There's nothing to suggest adding, okay? So even if this statement is true on its own, it's not you can't derive that from here in any capacity. So, we'll put an X on that. If a number is even, then a number is divisible by 2, okay? So what did they do? They've kind of just transposed those statements, right? So that's not what they're asking us up here up top. So we've got A, all right? Let's move on to this 11, another one that many of us missed. In the figure, the measure of angle AED is 125. AED is 125. Which of the following statements is false? Right? These are always kind of tricky. So you read one that's true, that's actually not the appropriate answer. You read one that's wrong, you're like, okay, that's the one they want. So the correct answer is A, okay? AED, and BEC are adjacent angles. Okay, are they sharing a line, a side? Okay, they're not. So because it's wrong, it's going to be the appropriate answer A. Let's look at BEC. BEC and CED are adjacent angles. Yeah, they are. Okay, they share a side. Measure BEC is 125. BEC is 125. It is. They're vertical angles. You guys know that. But they won't false. So this one is not going to be the appropriate answer choice. And AEB is 55. AEB is 55. Okay, the fact that they're supplementary angles tells us that they're 180, right? Supplementary. Means that they equal 180. How do I know that they share a line, right? And they're being bisected. So if they produce that 180, you've got yourself supplementary angles. And we're good to go, okay? Because it's correct, it's not the appropriate answer choice. That leaves us really with just A. And yeah, let's go ahead and move on, okay? What is a counterexample for the conjecture? All right, and let's read the conjecture. What is the conjecture? The product of two positive numbers is greater than the sum of the two numbers, right? So let's take, and again, if I just can't emphasize the fact that we did cover counterexamples and conjectures. This scenario is very specific, so we may not have, but if you look at the details, you've covered this in your previous math classes, okay? So we have a number that's positive, whoops, a number that's positive and another number that's positive, okay? So the product of those two positive numbers, which means multiplication, is greater than the sum, which means addition, okay? So if we look at 3 and 5, right, that's multiplied 15, added is 8. So in this case, A is not appropriate because it actually proves a conjecture, okay? So that's not going to fly. 2 and 2, okay? 2 times 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. Is 4 bigger than 4? Okay, that one's definitely worth considering. We know it to be the right answer, but let's see what else we got. C. Okay, what is a counterexample? That means you've got to understand what a counterexample is. A counterexample exists, but it is not shown above. Okay, they want the counterexample, so the fact that you've made a statement doesn't mean you've met the request, okay? There is no counterexample. We actually found one. The conjecture is true. Okay? Just kind of getting baited there. Be careful, okay? But at least you're getting to learn how these people are making this test. All right, number 10. Name an angle complementary to angle COD. Okay? An angle complementary to COD. What are we at? COD. Okay? So we have this angle complementary okay? The way I remember when it's been a long time and I kind of forget them, I just kind of draw a line straight down and it creates a 90, okay? So that's how I know what it's referring to. If you guys applied that same cheap little trick, but it works, okay? At least it works for me. And I put a line straight down here, notice what it gives me. It gives me kind of like this 180 kind of image, okay? Again, cheesy, but it works. So anyways, the fact that they're asking for complementary, they're looking for an angle with that produces 90 when combined, okay? So name an angle COD. So we know that the correct answer is C, so let's check it out. COB, okay? The fact, once again, that we have these two angles, okay, this one and this one, okay? The fact that we have them adjacent to each other, okay? They're being bisected, they share a straight line. That's a good indication that they're going to, equal 180. Therefore, this one, this one's being indicated to be 90. This one's 90, okay? So together, these two are going to produce 90. So that one's going to be the guy that we keep. But let's go and investigate these other ones. EOD, EOD, okay? Visually, it looks a little too much, but if we go explore it a little further, they share a straight line. They're being bisected, So we know that that's going to be a supplementary relationship. So that one's gone. We look at AOC. AOC. Okay. AOC. And same thing, this angle with this angle, they share that straight line. Okay, essentially they're being bisected, so that's going to be a what? A supplementary relationship. And EOA, EOA, okay, we know them to at best be vertical angles. There's nothing to suggest or guarantee us that they're complementary. Okay, so this one's one of those that you can kind of put a question mark, and then you have to make your best decision from there. Okay, but after investigating C, you'd be more than convinced. So with that, that brings us to the last question. The rest of them we'll do them in class. Again, we've just hit the more difficult questions that the class missed in large part. So if you have questions about these or anything else, we'll cover it in class. Thanks for your time.